On today's video, I'm going to be taking you on a driving tour through Prosper, Texas to check out 3 new neighborhoods that are coming soon, zoned for Prosper ISD. They are future communities that are expected to really shape the next phase of growth here in Prosper. We'll be discussing details about Alania by MI Homes, Mirabella by Huntington Homes, and Creekside, which will feature Southgate, Coventry, and Shattuck Homes. All 3 of these neighborhoods are on a timeline of 2026 to 2027, and some of these neighborhoods will feature homes in the $600,000 price range up to $2 million. Throughout the video, I'll be breaking down what's planned for each community, how many homes are getting built, what amenities are coming, the builders within each one, and some of the pros and cons to give you a better idea of what's on the horizon here in Prosper, Texas. So that makes sense. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video today. You join me over here in Prosper, Texas, right on the border of Prosper and McKinney over in the northeast section of Prosper. We are going to be going over and not driving through actually, because there's not really any roads to drive through these neighborhoods, but these are new neighborhoods coming soon at the end of 2025 into 2026, zoned for Prosper ISD. So if you clicked on this video, this is going to be a range of prices of homes. Now, full prices haven't been marketed out yet. They're starting to give some ideas on some things, but I would say anywhere from like $600,000 up to $1.5 million. We're going to be looking at smaller neighborhoods, gated communities, and over on the west side as well of Prosper, Texas. The 3 neighborhoods we're going to be talking about today is Alania, Mirabella, and Creekside. The first neighborhood we're going to be heading towards is Alania, which is just up on this northeast section of Prosper, actually zoned for McKinney, but into Prosper ISD. It's going to be over here on this left side. So actually, I think within like the next week or so, I think if I just would have waited another week, I would have been able to actually drive into this neighborhood, because it looks like they're putting the rebar down for the street, but it's over to the left here. So it's gonna have 2 entrances right off Custer Road. We're about 5 minutes away from 380. Within this neighborhood, it's gonna be located in between Lloyd Howell, Frontier Parkway, and also a little bit further down from Prosper Trail. This community is going to be zoned for Collin County, City of McKinney, Prosper ISD, and Collin College are the 4 jurisdictions, giving you a tax rate of about 1.85%, which is slightly lower than Prosper's. Over in this area, phase 1 is going to feature 235 single-family homes on over 75 acres, offering a suburban retreat with future amenities and open spaces. Now, I don't know the full extent on amenities. They're really just kind of marketing, hey, this is how many homes are going to be in here. These are the builders. I don't know if there's going to be more future builders, but right now, MI Homes is marketing in this neighborhood. I haven't come across any other builders in here, so that's what I expect, that this probably is going to be the only builder. There might be another one later on in the future. Amenities, like I was saying, specific details haven't been released yet. They are, however, indicating that there is going to be trails in open spaces, and you can kind of see right now there's a pretty good open space running down. It looks like it's about 100 yards or 200 yards of kind of a green space, so you will have what it looks like some walking trails in here. The school zoning is going to be in a Prosper ISD, of course. It's going to be zoned right now for Reeves Elementary, Jones Middle School, and Walnut Grove High School. Commute times out of here right now, you can expect going down to Dallas about 55 minutes, DFW Airport 40 minutes, Frisco 20 minutes away, nearest grocery store 5 minutes away, and the nearest hospital about 15 minutes away. And for the pros and cons of this neighborhood, it's going to be a bit of a quieter setting, maybe compared to Mirabella, just because you're a little bit further away from 380, but you are off Custer Road, so depending on where you pick those lots, if you pick those lots more on the west side of the community, you might hear more traffic running down Custer Road than being more towards the east side of the neighborhood. You're in the early phase of this development, so being able to kind of pull more value as this neighborhood gets built. It's not going to be the biggest master plan community in the world, but it will have a good amount of homes. So being at the beginning in the first phase or within the first couple of homes, you might be able to pull out just a little bit more value. You also are going to have convenient access to areas, so being off Custer Road, you are going to be close down to the 380 corridor, also not too far away from the gates of Prosper. So if you want to do some of your shopping over there, it's just right now the con with this area is it's still a little bit underdeveloped. At least they do have these 2-lane roads with good infrastructure, not a whole bunch of lighting still around here. So at night it is pretty dark, but for right now, you do have these 2-lane roads with curbs, so it is better than like over at Astor Park, where it's still kind of that sketchy county road that you're gonna have to go down. And I would say it's about 5 minutes to get down to this 380 corridor, but in this area of Custer and 380, you're gonna have everything you need along here, so at least these things are developed out. Cons within this neighborhood, I mean, you get the pro of having a lower tax rate compared to these other communities that we're gonna go into, but con, I would just throw it at the builder. I don't think MI Homes is the worst builder in the world, but these other neighborhoods that I talk about today, they are gonna be higher price points. They are gonna be better builders. So like Huntington Homes, Shattuck, even Coventry, I would take over in MI Homes. So I would throw that maybe a little bit on the con side, but MI Homes I still am fine doing business with. I have no problem sending buyers over to that builder as well. We're hopping on to 380 now, so you can see kind of how quickly that took. Really not that bad. So if you do go up to Alania, you are going to see there is a bunch of fields, but just know 5 minutes south, you're into this area. Now, I don't know the potential pricing right now of Alania. I would expect it to be starting around 550, 600K, just because Astor Park MI Homes is around that number too. So like budget 700K for that. And then as that area gets developed out, I would say there's going to be traffic variability. You just don't know yet with kind of what's going on. Over on the right side, jumping to this now, that is going to be the area, and actually I probably could have pulled in there. I just didn't know if that street was actually built out, but in that area is where Mirabella is going to be. So jumping over to the next neighborhood now, so you see how quickly that happened. So Mirabella, this one's going to be a higher end of living. So I don't expect, if you're looking at Alania, you're probably not going to be a buyer for Mirabella. So that's why I kind of am going to enjoy making this video today, because I think this is for a wide range and wide spectrum of people. So you got Alania, it's going to be kind of the cheapest options. Then we're going to jump to Mirabella and talk about this real quick, which is going to be the most expensive options. I believe they're going to be starting prices in here kind of like, you could probably compare this with Park Place. Park Place, over there you got Partners in building homes at like $1.5 million. I would expect that to be the same thing that's going over here. Huntington Homes could be even more expensive. So right now they are saying that it's going to start about 1 million, but I would say after you budget everything, gated community, all that type of stuff, I would say 1.5, 1.4, 1.3 million dollars. Maybe you're doing a one-story home. I mean, these lot sizes in here, they're saying they should be pretty good, and they're going to say they're going to be breaking ground summer and beginning sales 2026, late 2026. So really this is a move in time. If you are on the timeline now of trying to move in like 2027, I know that's far out, but that's how these new construction things work. They haven't even built out the streets or anything like that, and I think that's going to be the same way with Creekside. So if you're immediately wanting to start getting into something, Alania is going to be the option, but you're going to be compromising on kind of the build quality and maybe the amenities within the neighborhood. But I even think Mirabella, amenity wise, they're just talking about scenic hiking trails, biking trails, and green spaces. I once again don't believe it's going to be anything like pickleball courts, volleyball courts, big master plan community that you're going to get within here, but you're going to have luxury homes. However, I am going to say, you're buying a Huntington home, just know that that is a very high-end Highland home. So keep that in mind. You are just buying a overpriced hunt, and that's just my opinion, okay? You can view that how you want. Now, don't get me wrong, the Huntington homes look great. They have great curb appeal. They have a great curb appeal. You can go look at like Mustang Lakes, or you can go look over at the Fields Frisco to get a better idea. They do have some model homes there that you can go check out. But when I walk into a Huntington home, I just feel like it's a very nice Highland home. So if you want to go a little bit cheaper, go with like a Highland home option over at like Star Trail, some of these other neighborhoods that are building these big 76-foot, 84-foot lot Highland homes might be a little bit more of a cheaper option. Now the school zoning for Mirabella right now, you're going to have Cockrell Elementary, Rogers Middle School, and Walnut Grove High School. Commute times out of that neighborhood down to Dallas is going to be 50 minutes. DFW Airport is going to be 40 minutes. Frisco is going to be 15 minutes away. Nearest grocery store is about 5 minutes away, and the nearest hospital is still going to be about 15 minutes out. So you are a little bit, comparing it with Alania, you are closer because you're on 380. Now, the flip side of that is you might hear more 380 traffic, but it looks like from what I was seeing on the map, it looks like Mirabella is going to be put back a little bit further. So I would expect you're going to have a gated entrance. You're going to drive like a minute or two into the neighborhood, and then it's going to set you more into those lots. So they are going to have some areas of wooded trees. So you are going to be able to get potentially some privacy on those good sized lots. So pros within that neighborhood of Mirabella: luxury appeal, gated community, you've got prime access, you're close to retail and just daily conveniences of running to the banks, the vet, just the normal things that you want to be around. You start getting up to Alania, you got to drive like 5 to 10 minutes. But once again, I don't think if you're a buyer looking at Alania, you're not going to be looking at Mirabella. I think if you're looking at Mirabella, you're also comparing that with like Twin Creeks Ranch with Partners in Building, or Park Place with Grand Homes and Shattuck Homes. Or you go a little bit further north up to Harper Estates and you're on like 1 acre lots. So those are like if the buyer's coming in, I believe they're going to be comparing with that neighborhood. If you're looking at Alania, I think you're going to be comparing with Astor Park, you're going to be comparing with Mosaic, you're going to be comparing with Cambridge Crossing. However, I think those neighborhoods do still offer a little bit better amenities than what Alania is going to offer. Cons within this neighborhood: you're going to be at a higher price point. You're potentially just going to have more traffic getting into this area driving down 380, but being located off 380, that's going to still be pretty convenient. And then if you're buying into this neighborhood, I always throw construction delays with this. I'm giving you guys a timeline of late 2026 because that's what they're telling me, but just know that it might not be late 2026. It could be even further. Prosper has been a little bit better than Salina with some of their things and when they're saying they're releasing some neighborhoods and kind of staying on those timelines. But just a heads up, I am telling you, end of 2026 is when they're going to say they're going to start releasing lots, but they haven't even started putting in roads. There was a little PR thing a month or so ago with Mirabella, so that's what made me feel comfortable making this video talking about it now. So you might have some more construction delays, and then also higher HOAs. So over in Alania, I expect that HOA probably to be around like $800 per year. I would be surprised if it was like over $1,000. I don't see why it would be over $1,000. I would say around $800 per year would make sense for that neighborhood. With this neighborhood in here, you're probably looking at like $1,600 a year is what I would expect. It could be more with these gated communities. I mean, over at Fields Frisco in the Preserve, you got a gated community over there, it's $10,000. Then you've got like Harper Estates where it's like around $1,000, and then you've got Park Place. Once again, I believe that's just north of $1,000 annually. So what would surprise me is like if this one's over $2,000 annually. And then also another big pro, school district, gonna be zoned for Walnut Grove High School. The thing with Alania is, and I'm just talking about these two neighborhoods and not comparing it with Creekside right now, just because Creekside is way over on the west side, which we've been driving down 380 for a bit of time to get over to Creekside. I'm just comparing these two neighborhoods because they are going to be similar in terms of retail in your daily life. For the school district, I believe that Mirabella is probably going to stay about the same. The elementary school might change, the middle school might change, but I think Walnut Grove, because it's so close to Mirabella, I would be so surprised if they build another high school north of Mirabella up by Alania that this would be zoned for it, but it could happen at the end of the day. I don't know what they do with these school districts and how they start rezoning these things. Of course, it depends on the census reports. So I think in the future, for Alania, you are going to have a greater chance of things changing on you, school district wise. But for Mirabella, I believe you might have a chance for the elementary school and middle school, but I think the high school is going to stay about the same. All right, now we're turning on to Legacy. So going left here would take you right into the area of Fields Frisco, PGA. This neighborhood of Creekside, gonna be in a great location. It's gonna be Shattuck Development Group in here. They're gonna have builders Shattuck Homes, Southgate Homes, and Coventry. If you asked me, hey, what are your top builders out of there? I would say Shattuck, then Coventry, then Southgate. And this is the only reason. Now, you might say, well, Daniel, Southgate homes are usually more expensive than the Coventry homes. And I think that's my point right there. When I walk through a Southgate home, it just doesn't, I just walk into it the same way I kind of walk into a Huntington home. I'm kind of like, man, this just feels like a very overpriced Normandy home. Is kind of how I feel about a Southgate home. So in that aspect, I would take a Coventry home over a Southgate home because I think Green Brick Partners, they're just overpricing everything compared to a Normandy home. And I still walk into Southgate homes and still see like LVP flooring. And I don't know if that's a standard option or maybe that was picked just out on that one, but I would expect more LVP flooring to be through like Normandy homes. But I even walk through Southgate homes and like bathroom floors on the walk-in showers won't even be done. Like won't even be completely finished out with tiling. It'll still be like a fiberglass bottom or that plastic look at the bottom. It's just like more of a cheap look. We are driving down Legacy, so some of you guys are probably aware of this. Some of you guys that are not in this area and you're thinking about relocating out to this area, this is a big deal right here. So they have finally opened up Legacy Drive and First Street. I say they finally, this happened like 3 months ago, but this is great here. So now you can really drive from Prosper on Legacy down into like Legacy West. You don't even have to get onto the tollway. So I really do like this area. I think, would I take this area over where Mirabella is getting built? Maybe potentially, just because you have a lot of new developments coming over here, and I think this is going to be a great area. Actually, you know what? I would take this area because this area is going to be easier attached with the Dallas North Tollway. Being over at Mirabella, now this is still going to be a different price point than Mirabella. I think you're probably going to be around like 800 starting in here, depending on the lot sizes. If they're doing 40-foot lots in here, you're going to be starting around like probably 600 to 700K. But price points in here are going to be a little bit better, but that's because it's not a gated neighborhood. But I do like the location. I think that's my final answer there. I do like the location of this a little bit better over here at Creekside. So maybe it's worth more the location rather than being a gated neighborhood and paying a higher HOA. I don't really think you're going to be dealing with PIDs or MUDs in any of these neighborhoods, just because the scale of these neighborhoods, and Prosper usually doesn't do things like that. Now McKinney will throw in MUDs on some things, so that you could see that with Alania, but Alania is really not that big. I would be surprised if there was some type of municipality utility district added on to that or something like that. Okay, so you've got also Pioneer Ridge with Southgate homes over here. I didn't pull anything from that. I probably should have done that, but they've already are building homes in there. I wanted to kind of do ones that were just like breaking ground. All right, maybe, you know what, in a day or so I'll do an actual neighborhood tour. I probably should have added that one on, but I was trying to keep this one just to like way into the future. So once again, this is for buyers that are really on a longer timeline of like 2 years out. That Pioneer Ridge one that we just passed, that's like right now ready to go. Probably going to be completing homes within 6 to 7 months from now. Within this neighborhood, it's going to be zoned for Prosper ISD, City of Prosper, Collin County, and Collin College. So you're going to have a tax rate of about 1.98%. But it's going to be over in this section right next to where they're building the middle school. And you can see this middle school here on the right side. Zoned for Thompson Elementary, Watkins Middle School, and Prosper High School. One downside of this area is like Prosper High School. Man, I wish it was zoned for like the Richland High School, or maybe this will be rezoned for the new Winsong Ranch High School when that gets built out. And like, I would say that's on a timeline of like maybe 5 years or longer. It's kind of weird right now seeing all these poles all over the place. I think they're having to redo all the utilities right now and expand these roads, because you can see Prosper, you can see the Legacy just turned into kind of a one-lane road here. Amenities within Creekside, you're going to have private amenities in here, but you're also going to have a public amenity of an 8-acre town Prosper Park in here. But within the neighborhood, you're going to have pickleball courts, sand volleyball courts, event lawn, playgrounds. So you're going to get better amenities in here than the other ones. That's kind of what I think. But you're going to be in a gated section. So once again, I think you're going to have to decide on what's most important. Now, just reiterating the fact, I still think even if you're looking at Mirabella, you're not really a buyer looking at Creekside. I think you're more of a buyer comparing with Park Place. Commute times out of this neighborhood, it's going to be about 50 minutes to Dallas, 35 minutes to DFW Airport, 15 minutes to Frisco or less. I would say even like 10 minutes, but 15 minutes maybe to the heart of Frisco or over by the Stonebriar Mall. And then grocery store is going to be about 6 minutes away, maybe even less. And then the nearest hospital is going to be 11 minutes out. So you can see that these commute times, not drastically, just marginally got a little bit better than over on that far east side of Prosper. And that's because also the Dallas North Tollway is going to be very close to this section. So if you are a commuter, I think this is going to be a better area to kind of live at. Pros within this neighborhood: commute times are going to be better. You're going to have somewhat top-end builders. I mean, Coventry, you're going to walk into a model home at Coventry and they're going to say they're builder of the year of 2025, but so is my mom, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm seeing every builder is the top builder at the end of the day. You're going to have direct access to a lot of the Prosper ISD schools, so maybe a little bit more of a commute time with those other neighborhoods, with those other Prosper ISD schools. But over in here, you're going to have the middle school, the elementary school, and the high school are going to be so close to this neighborhood, so you're going to have easy commute times. Future growth of this area is going to be great. They're still going to be bringing in a lot of new construction neighborhoods. You can see Legacy Gardens is starting to break ground more on the far north side of this development. And then you're going to have outdoor facilities, amenities, and also a Prosper Town Park. So it gives it strong resale potential, I think, in the long run of things. Cons over here: you still got early development. There might still be more delays. You've got limited retail right now over in this area, but you can see over in this left side, you've got the Creeks retail that's starting. So this will be kind of like maybe some laundry, dentists, coffee places over on this side. So you're starting to get more of that lifestyle amenities, or I say not lifestyle amenities, but just more of those things that you need around just a normal lifestyle of just normal banks, dentist offices, laundries, maybe some food things, maybe some small shopping over on this side. Also, being at the beginning phase of this neighborhood, I think with all that, and that goes for all these neighborhoods, but also you're really close to HEB. So unlike the first two neighborhoods we looked at, they were not close to HEB. This one is about less than 5 minutes away from HEB. We're actually driving there right now, and you can see in front of us, the Dallas North Tollway is really getting built out right now. So just a little bit longer. So if you are, once again, a commuter, it's gonna make it easier for you and make the commute times even better. And then just past Dallas North Tollway is going to be the HEB. So maybe you wanna go with Creekside because the HEB is a little bit closer to you. And that's going to do it. So whether you are drawn to the luxury gated feel of Mirabella, maybe you want kind of the quieter living over by Alania, or you want to kind of be more in the heart of Prosper where all the developments are going in with the Dallas North Tollway and everything, and you're going to have a budget of about $1 million and you do want more amenities, maybe Creekside is the option for you. Once again, I would take, if you're looking at builders in that neighborhood, I think Shattuck compared to those other two builders, that's who I would kind of go with. So that's going to do it on today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions about buying in Prosper or McKinney, you're looking at new construction, maybe you're on a timeline of 2 years, send me a text, give me a call. Let's talk real estate. I've got all my information down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Other than that, peace out, y'all, and take it easy as always. Thanks for checking out my channel and watching that video. I got more videos floating around here. If you're in the market to buy or sell real estate in the DFW area, contact me. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Besides that,